Hello guys, good morning to everyone. We are here and we're going to be discussing on the module 5 of the subject professional conduct and ethical standards. No? So this is part already of the unit 2. So with that, no, kasi I cannot be able to attend our synchronous lecture because of some event. So I had prepared to you a lecture on this subject matter on this manner recorded so that still even if I cannot attend the synchronous lecture, I can still be able to discuss the things that we should discuss. Okay, so without further ado, let us move into the different topic kasi I guess the topic that I had prepared to you right now would be it would take time. No? It's a very long topic. So we have here the different topics that we will be covering in this lecture. We have at least two of the major topic, the standard of professionalism and the police professional conduct, which compose of the following: commitment to democracy, commitment to public interest, nonpartisanship, and others. So there are more, no? Which I did not included in the presentation, but we will cover them one by one. Okay, so the first topic that we will be covering, of course, is the standard for or standard of police professionalism. When we talk about standard of police professionalism, we are referring to the expectation not only by the community but also the police organization towards its member. No? So it is expected that when a police officer perform their duties, no, they must perform it with the so-called integrity, no, intelligence, and competence. So as of course that is to satisfy not only the community of their service but also the stakeholder, no, of the PNP organization. There are different activities that the PNP are involved in too, no? So whatever that activities are, no, whichever is the goal of the activities, they must always adhere to the best performance that they could render to the community, no? So that also involves the concept of integrity. So when a police officer perform their duty, do it with integrity, no? Be honest in the performance of your duty, as it really benefits the community, and also it benefits the organization in return. And there are different activities also that the PNP members are involved into that needs yung tinatawag nating specialization, no? Such as in the conduct of investigation. Well, when a police officer is conducting investigation, it is expected, of course, that he must do it with the expertise and excellence in that specific field. No? Not only in the field of investigation, but other primary duty of the PNP, such as the protection of life, no? The enforcement of the law. No? So this really needs the expertise of the PNP in the performance of such. No? We don't want police officer who are not sure, no, on how to perform or how to do a certain things, no, when it is already required. So syempre, we will be very disappointed as the community, and also the organization will be affected if the members of the police organization are not really that expert in the performance of their duty, no? Kaya pag nakita mo yung police officer hindi niya alam paano mag-conduct or magmando ng traffic sa ating mga lansangan, it's really disappointing, no? Kasi police officers hindi siya marunong hindi niya alam yung procedures in the conduct of investigation. It really disappointing, and not only that it's disappointing on his part as an individual, but also it affects how we perceive the PNP organization as a whole, no? Kaya pag merong kapalpakan na ginagawa ang isang police officer on field, it reflect, no, to the organization as a whole. That's why they should bear, no, the standards that the PNP organization had put into its member, and as well as the expectation of the community towards them, no? Mataas talaga ang ina-expect ng ating mamamayan towards the PNP members, kasi mataas din naman ang mandato ng PNP organization towards their members. So it's really justifiable that these demands are there to set the standards, no? Especially in the conduct of police activities. No? So this defines how professional is the police officers in the performance of their duty. Ano? Hindi lang naman ito sa kapulisan, kasi different professions has also their standard for professionalism. For example, sa mga teachers, they have also yung tinatawag nating standards, sets that defines how professional they are in the performance of their duty. So it's just the thing that minsan mas maraming nakatutok na sa mga ginagawa ng kapulisan compared sa mga ginagawa ng other professions, because of course the police officers are publicly visible, no? They are open for scrutiny, no? There are a lot of criticism that are being directed towards them. That's why they must see to it that all of these things that are set, no, that are defining how professional they are followed and performed efficiently. Okay? Now let's jump into the police professional conduct. By the way, there's a lot of things that we will be covering under this topic. Ano? Isa niyo dyan yung tinatawag nating commitment to democracy. Na? Commitment to democracy mandates that PNP members shall commit themselves to the democratic way of life. Na? Pag sinabi nating democratic way of life, we are expecting that the police officer in the performance of their duty shall always see to it that they respect the life, no? Respect life of each and every individual. Just respect the freedom of each person, no? They respect the human rights of each person, and they should always uphold into it that they would be in the good side of the commotion between human rights violation and human rights protection. No? So, also it includes there that if you're living in tinatawag nating democratic way of life, you must be honest in the performance of your duty, you know? You must really uphold yung tinatawag nating public interest, which will be discussed later on. No? And of course, the maintenance of yung tinatawag nating principle of public accountability. Now, as we have stated, na it is the primary duty. It is the primary responsibility of all the government employees, not only the police officers, no, but all government employee to be publicly accountable. No? So whenever there is an issues that must be addressed by the organization, by the PNP, they must see to it that they shall answer it, no, to the satisfaction of the community. No? Kaya minsan wag sana magalit, no, yung mga members ng PNP, no, if you will become a member of the PNP organization someday and somebody is scrutinizing you based on the things that has something to do with public records and so on, you must all be willing, no, to answer such queries or questions if it concerns the public interest. No? So, yan yung pagiging public accountable. No? Kasi you have the obligation really to answers the doubt, no? Or answer the questions that are being asked by the community if they seem to believe that there is something wrong with the manner how you perform your duty. No? So, sabi nga ng principle natin, ano, government employees, no, and officers or public servants, no. So if they really are living their profession as a public servant, then definitely it is just a right, no, to answer, no, yung mga tinatawag nating queries and questions that are being asked by the community, since they are the one that these public servants are serving. No? So it's okay, the very concept of public accountability is they must be transparent in everything they does, no. So whether that's something to do with their official duty, no, minsan din meron yung mga issues that has something to do with their private life, but if that really concerns the public interest, no, then they definitely they should be accountable for it, no? They should always be willing to answer for question that has something to do with it. Under the commitment of democracy, of course, it is expected that the PNP members shall always see to it that they uphold the Constitution. Uphold the Constitution, meaning that they will honor, no, the content of the Constitution, whatever is written there, no, whatever rights are being manifested therein, no, and whatever duties are being put therein, they should always see to it that they would respect and perform the mandates under the Philippine Constitution, and that also involves the loyalty, loyalty to our country, no. So it is really a taboo, no, when the police officers are betraying the administration, no, that runs the government of our country. It's not really good to see police officers that they are the one sometimes to who really in cases of yung mga tinatawag nating kudeta, no, sa mga ganong issues kasi nakikita natin doon that they are no longer loyal to the Constitution. And of course, it should be the primary duty of the police officer to always go with the Constitution, go with the mandates of their Constitution, and always see to it that their loyalty shall reside to the country itself, no? To the country, to the people, and organization above their loyalty to any person, no? If a police officer is only focusing his loyalty to a certain person kasi meron siya yung tinatawag nating utang na loob, no? Despite that the public interest is already being put into jeopardy, I think that is no longer an ideal characteristic that a police officer must have, no? And hindi na siya kumbaga considered as an asset for the PNP organization. So as a police officer, you shall always see to it that all of these things na yung tinatawag nating democratic way of life, no, public accountability, and loyalty to the country, people, and organization, as well as to the Constitution, must be always must be always take into consideration, no? And they should always honor such things. Okay. Of course, we have here next is the public interest. Though we made mention of this already, under the first discussion that we have, under the commitment to public interest, of course, the PNP are always or expected to always uphold the public interest over and above the personal interest. So we are talking about prioritizing the public interest over your personal interest. What usually happens here is when sometimes PNP members, the members of the PNP organization prioritize their personal interest over the public interest. So kung mas tinitignan mo bilang isang police officer kung ano yung makukuha mo sa isang bagay kumpara doon sa ano ang makukuha ng community sa isang bagay, at inuuna mo yung pansarili mong kapakanan, then I think you are already violating your professional conduct and you are no longer becoming professional in the performance of your duty, Of course, in the commitment, under the commitment of to public interest, we're talking also about the public resources, or the government properties and resources, also their powers, Now, as a public officer, as a law enforcer, you must see to it that all of the government properties or resources shall be disposed in accordance with the benefit of the public interest. So when you are using yung mga tinatawag nating government properties, that involves also the financial resources, you must see to it that lahat ng mga ginagawa ng organization are directed to the public interest. So what will benefit the majority na shall be taken into consideration. Ayan yung mga halimbawa, when the PNP organization build the mansion for a retiring general or so on, na, and the mansion was uh, funded by the PNP organization itself, no? Would you think that such resources was disposed, no, in accordance to the public interest, no? Tingin nyo ba that yung pera ng PNP organization was disposed to nagasto yung pera na yan just to para makinabang ang publiko, para makinabang ang community? Of course, that's not the case, ano? Sa mga ganong bagay, doon tayo nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating conflict of interest, kasi they seem to prioritize the personal interest of one person instead of prioritizing the public interest of instead of prioritizing the interest of the public, ano? Another example for this, no? If the fund or the financial resources of the PNP organization was used to buy um, a new a brand new car for the chief of police or for a certain person, no? Instead of using it to buy patrol car that will be used by the police officers in the conduct of patrolling, in the conduct of in the performance of their duty, no? Kung inuna pang ibilhan, gamitin yung pondo ng organisasyon, pambili ng sasakyan para may gamitin yung hepe nila, no? Or may sasakyan na gamitin yung official nila, no? Then definitely that is not honoring, that is not in accordance with the mandates, which is the PNP organization or the PNP itself should commit, no, all the activities and all the disposition of their resources to public interest, ano? Isipin natin lagi that whenever a resource is disposed, no, whether that's money or material, no, it should be for public interest, no? Kaya yan, for example, ginagamit na service yung patrol car, no, for personal activities, no? Definitely that is no longer in accordance with the public interest. Sometimes I heard yung mga police officers are requested to render their duty, no, to a certain gathering, which is halimbawa birthday ni mayor, patawag niya lahat ng PNP para magbantay doon sa area kung saan gaganapin yung birthday, no, ni mayor. That is not that is a waste of the resources, no? You're wasting the resources of the government, no? Kasi who will benefit for such, no? Will the community benefit for that instead of these police officers patrolling within the community and performing their duties, expected duties? They're there, no? Governing, they're there securing the mayor of that town and so on. So yun yung mga issues na dapat i-address ng PNP members, and they shall always see to it that whenever there is a deployment of force, no, there is a disposition of funds, no, it should be the public interest that should be taken into consideration always. Okay? Under nonpartisanship, it is expected that the PNP members shall always provide services to everyone without discrimination. Ang tinitignan kasi natin dito is that their political involvement. When a police officer is loyal to a political party, that is already in violation of, in contradictory of the principle of nonpartisanship. So while it is just right for a police officer also to have his own political belief, no? At meron siyang mga sarili ding pananaw when it comes to politics, meron siyang sariling partido when it comes to politics, that hindi naman pinagbabawal yan. Well, ano yung pinagbabawal under non-partisanship is that when a certain police officers is already becoming or the performance of a certain police officer is already affected by his political belief, no? Yun yung bawal sa PNP organization, sa mga PNP members. So for example, the current issues right now, no? um, let's say for example that you as a police officer is loyal to the current administration, which is expected naman since that is mandated, that is required and expected for the PNP organization to be loyal to the administration, the current administration. But if such loyalty already affects your performance to the point that you are denying service already, now you're denying your service to a certain organization, to a certain person, because of your conflicting political belief. No? Limbawa, you are the chief of police in a certain area, no, and there comes an organization who wanted to conduct uh, programs, no, who wanted to conduct programs, and you know them, kilala mo sila, na sila yung kumbaga is anti-administration, or sila yung mga tinatawag nating kalaban na partido, magkalabang partido, no, kalaban na partido ng pinapaniwalaan mo, then it shall not affect the in the rendering of the service, no, of you as a police officer, no, whenever they are requested to do so. Humingi sila ng police assistance because they wanted to conduct caravan, no, they wanted to conduct yung uh, motorcade, no? In your locality, in your jurisdiction. That's why they wanted to ask for police assistance. You denied them kasi nga magkalaban kayo ng partido. Hindi dapat ganun yung mangyari. That's what we are avoiding under nonpartisanship. That's why it is okay for a police officer to have his own political belief, no, as a free individual, but of course with regards to the function, with regards to the performance of their duty, that political belief shall not affect their performance. No? Hindi dapat magkaroon ng discrimination just because you have a different ideology, you have different political affiliation, and so on. That's why we are trying, or the PNP organization are trying to avoid such thing from happening. So even if you have conflicting you have conflicting ideas, no, with that group, no, what must be what must be done, no? So if it's legal for them to conduct such thing and it is your duty to provide assistance for them, then you must perform your duties regardless of the conflicting ideas that you have, no? So yun yung tinitignan natin under non-partisanship. Okay? Physical fitness, of course, that is expected already for the PNP members, that they must always be physically fit. Not only physically fit, but also they should also be mentally fit at all times. Now, physical fitness and health, that also involves the mental fitness, of course, of police officers. Now, we wanted police officers who are physically capable in the performance of their duty. Kaya the performance or the different duties of the police officer usually involves the conduct of patrolling, no? Engaging into civil disturbance activities, and so on. So what is required is, of course, the police officer shall or can perform their duties without any restriction to their health. No? Mahirap naman minsan na magkaroon tayo ng police officer or not capable na habulin yung criminal through tumakbo yung criminal, hindi niya mahabol kasi nga hinihika siya, no? O di kaya is madali siyang kapusin ng hininga. We don't want those officers. We want an officer who is capable of apprehending apprehending the criminals, na in whatever manner it is needed, no? Kaya dapat talaga diyan they must be physically, no, mentally, no, and they are healthy at all times, no? That is why, no, under the PNP program, we notice, or you probably notice as a civilian, that there are those activities that are directed to such thing, no? I remember that sometime during the administration of the current government, the current administration had imposed a program on the PNP organization which prohibits or which requires the reduction of weight for those police officers who are considered as overweight, and so on. So yan yung mga different activities under physical fitness that they're trying to really improve the uh, mental health and the health in general of the PNP members, because we want them to be an asset of the government, not a liability to the point that they always are considered as a burden to the organization, no? So yan yung ina-expect natin, that the PNP members, the members of the PNP organization shall always be physically fit, no? And with regards to mental fitness, no, dapat they're capable of uh, coming up with ideas and plans, and when they're put into scrutiny, dapat hindi sila agad-agad na um, nagba-back down, no? Kasi minsan may mga trabaho ang police officer that they will be put into heavy fire, no? I mean words by words, no? Like for example, pag sila ay nahaharap sa isang mass demonstration, sa mga rally, mamura-murahin ka diyan, no? Uh, pagsasalitaan ka ng masasakit na salita, and if you're not mentally prepared for such treatment, then definitely I think law enforcement is not really for you, no? Kung konting bagay lang, balat sibuyas ka, nagre-react ka na, nasasaktan ka na, I think it's not really fit for you to be a member of the PNP, kasi that involves really tolerance above all, no, the different characteristic, kasi when you're dealing with public, na, when you're dealing with the unruly public, na, when you're dealing with the person who has different ideologies from you, you would really expect such altercations, such words to be said, such shots to be fired now in terms of words and accusations. And it is should be one of the primary strength of a police officer to have that utmost tolerance, maximum tolerance nating tinatawag, ano? Okay? So next is we have here the secrecy discipline, ano? Sometimes this is used in advantage of the interest of some, no? But I think the idea between secrecy discipline is really important, no? A PNP members is of course expected that he shall guard the confidentiality of classified information, because you know for a fact that majority of the classified information or confidential information really is within the PNP, that in terms of criminal records, no, yung mga patungkol sa mga criminal histories and other confidential information, hawak yan ng ating kapulisan. And it should be one of the character traits of a PNP member to have that secrecy discipline. That whenever an information that is really important or considered as confidential will be disclosed to him, na dapat hindi niya yan pinagkakalat sa mga kung sino-sino lang. Na meron tayong tinatawag na secrecy discipline that requires, of course, from the PNP members that they shall always honor the confidentiality of information that are being disclosed to them. Na mahirap naman kapag lahat na lang ng naririnig mo, lahat ng nalalaman mo sa organization, pinagkakalat mo din, that would really affect the efficiency of the PNP organization in the performance of their duty, ano? Halimbawa, meron tayong classified information that there will be an operation that will be conducted against a certain high value target, no? But because you are part of that team who would be in charge in the apprehension, no, nabigyan ka ng mga information na kung saan pinagkalat mo, pinagkwento-kwento mo hanggang sa nalaman ng target natin or target ninyo yung operation na magaganap, and he was prepared for that. How would that affect now the operation, na you would expect that of course the operation will not be successful because the enemy has advanced information already, just because, no, one of the police officer had made the information which is deemed confidential to the public, no, which is deemed confidential, he already publicized it. So yun yung mga ina-avoid natin dyan. That's why it's one of the mandates that the police officer must know when to speak, what to speak, and So what yes, when to speak and when not to speak, and also ano yung mga kailangan sabihin at hindi kailangan sabihin, ano? So that's under secrecy discipline. This is very important, ano? This is very important. We don't want police officers who are good at chismes and so on. So they should always order yan, no? The secrecy discipline. You know that criminal organization has this code of omerta, the code of silence na tinatawag. So the police officer must have also yung tinatawag nating secrecy discipline. We have here yung tinatawag nating social awareness, no? When we're talking about social awareness, I believe there is a program that I came to notice that the PNP organization has planned or are already conducting right now, which involves the participation of the wives of the PNP members, no? Yung mga asawa ng mga PNP members ay ini-involve na rin doon sa tinatawag nating police community relation, which is good thing, ano? Kasi social awareness mandates that it's not only the PNP members who should live a life in accordance with the in accordance with the mandates, or in accordance with the morality, no? But also it should involve the immediate family of that person. Imagine mo kung ganito ang nangyayari, that you as a police officer are living your life in a democratic way, no? But then your wife or your immediate family are doing all these bad things that are should not be conducted, such as gambling, no? Pakikipagchismis, no? Pakikipag-inuman, and many other unwanted uh, behaviors. What would you expect, no? Sasabihin nila, ayan, ito police pa man din, pero hindi niya man lang magawang awatin, patigilin yung kanyang pamilya sa paggawa ng mga ganitong pag-uugali na hindi naman katanggap-tanggap. Si police officer nanguhuli ng kriminal, pero yung mga kamag-anak niya, yung kapamilya niya, sila din ang gumagawa ng hindi mabuti, no? That always goes back to you as a police officer, and the behavior of your immediate family really affects you as a person and you as a public servant, no? That is why under social awareness, sabi dito, it's not only the PNP members who should live their life in accordance to the morality, no, in accordance with integrity, but also the immediate family also, no? Kaya that's why under social awareness, no, the immediate family of the PNP members are encouraged to actively involve themselves in religious activities, social activities, and other civic activities that would enhance not only their family and their person, no, but also the organization to which their family or their loved one is involved into, ano? Kaya kung ikaw ay may kamag-anak na pulis, huwag mong gamitin yung uh, huwag mong gamitin yung opportunity na yan to take advantage of some. No? Kasi yung iba, porque may kamag-anak na pulis, yumayabang na rin sila kasi alam nila may kamag-anak sila. That should not be the case. Kasi pag ginagawa mo yan, hindi lang ikaw ang napapasama, pero yung pati yung kamag-anak mo, napapasama na rin yan. So, when you become a police officer, no, I know that will happen. You should always take into consideration the concept of social awareness. Pag sabihin mo, oh, hindi porket ganito ako, ganyan na ang behavior ninyo. Kasi pag ganyan ang pag-uugali nyo, sumasama ang tingin nila sa iyo, sasama ang tingin nila sa akin, sasama ang tingin nila sa buong organisasyon. Now, so as a police officer someday, when you will become one, take that into consideration. No? Pagsabihan ang mga kamag-anak, ang immediate family, to live their life in accordance with the mandates of your profession. Ano, damay ang pamilya mo diyan. Na damay sa tingin nila, no, sa iyo as a police officer, yung galaw mismo ng yung mga immediate family, no? So that's under social awareness. I think it's very good if in case maganda ang pakikitungo ng isang police, no? At the same time, maganda rin ang pakikitungo ng kanyang pamilya sa mamamayan. As mandated, no? Kasi it's a mandate. Yan. Okay, so we also have here yung tinatawag nating non-solicitation of patronage. No? Under non-solicitation of patronage, we're talking about yan, yung promotion, we're talking about assignment, we're talking about what else? Deployment, and so on. Di ba? Of course, to advance the career of a PNP members, no, para ma-promote siya, tumaas yung kanyang rango and whatsoever, he must do it on his own efforts, no? He must do it on his own way, no? Yung tinatawag natin self-improvement, no? If he wanted to have a career development, he must do it by improving himself over time. Huwag kasing iasa sa mga kakilala, no? O di kaya is ayan, mga ninong-ninang, no? Sa mga kapit-kapit, sa mga kakilakilala, yung pagkaroon ng tinatawag nating advancement on their career. If you want to get promoted, then definitely you should see to it that all of the things that must be done legally, such as studying, such as performing your duty in an outstanding manner, must be done. No? Huwag kang umasa lang sa mga kapit-kapit na yan o bayad-bayad na yan kasi there will be someday, no? Someday, you will also be maiipit ka din, no, sa mga pinaggagawa mo na yan, to the point that your career, no, will be affected, no? Kasi minsan kapag inaasa mo sa ninang-ninong mo yan, no, inaasa mo sa mga backer na yan, syempre may kapalit yan, which sometimes involved na yung tinatawag nating bayad utang ng loob, no? Minsan you can no longer hindi mo na kayang suwayin yung kanilang uh, mga gustong mangyari. For example, tinulungan ka ni mayor na makapasok sa serbisyo. And what will be the ano yung magiging kapalit niyan? What will be the payback the payment for that favor that was given to you? Syempre, kapag si mayor naman nangailangan ng tulong mo bilang isang police officer, you cannot say no, no? Hindi ka pwedeng tumanggi. Why? Kasi may utang na loob ka, and utang na loob does not expire. No, hindi na expire yan. That's why if you wanted to join the PNP organization, do it on your own effort. No? I know that it's tempting, of course, to have somebody, no, vouch you or help you to enter, but sometimes that is the reason why there are different, or there are many practices that are really unwanted in the PNP organization. Bakit minsan nagiging protector ng illegal activities yung mga police officer? It's because they probably have utang na loob, no, to the person who is doing such activity. Bakit sa tingin mo meron yung mga police officer na bago-bago pa lang, ang taas naman ng sweldo, na-involve pa rin into criminal activities? It's probably that they cannot say no to somebody. That's why they are being involved into such thing. That's why the advancement of the career, when we are talking about promotion, no, and so on, shall be done, no, shall be done with no favor given, but rather through self-improvement. Kaya bilang isang police officer, no, you should see to it that whenever whatever advancement you have on your career, no, dapat sa sarili mong pagod yan, sa sarili mong effort. Kaya kung titignan mo yung malinis magtrabaho minsan ng mga kapulisan, yan yung talagang tumataas sa kanilang posisyon na hindi nagpapatulong kani-kanino. Ano? Sila yung talagang makikita mong nagtsatsaga na kung saan is gawin yung tama hanggang sila ay makarating sa taas, no? I still believe that that is possible right now. I still see some people who tries to do it, no? And I do hope that they will not be eaten by the system. No, meron naman yung mga police na kung saan is ang bilis ng promotion. Why? Because meron silang kakilala. Meron naman yung mga gustong magpulis that even if they are not really qualified to be one, no, nakakapasok pa rin kasi meron silang kilala, and they will become the problem of the organization someday, no. Mind you, yung mga ganun na nakapasok not through the legal process, but then nakapasok sila dahil lang sa may mga kakilala, sila din lang yung magiging problema sa organisasyon, nasisira rin sa mga organisasyon na idadamay pa itong mga malilinis na kapulisan natin. That's why itong mga ganito dapat, the padrino system and so on, must not be tolerated and must not exist within the PNP organization. Now, unless I think they can remove this, when they can remove this system already, itong palakasan system na to, then probably we will see a better PNP organization in the near future. And I do hope it will happen, ano? For the benefit not only for the PNP members, but also for the organization itself. Okay? We also have here yung tinatawag nating proper care and use of public authority. Though we may mention this under the commitment of public interest kasi we're talking about resources, no? Government resources such as financial, funds, public resources, the the human resources of the PNP, no, and the different equipments that they have. So all of these things must be used, no, properly, and they must be taken properly also, no. So when a certain instrument, when a certain public property was entrusted to you, then you should use it in accordance with the public interest or in consideration of the public interest. So, kung halimbawa merong patrol car, no, na assign sa inyo, ikaw ang assigned as the driver of the patrol car, then you should not use it for your personal usage only. Halimbawa, ikaw ay namalengke, no, ginamit mo yung patrol car para mailagay doon yung mga pinamalengke mo. That is a violation of the ethical standard for police officers, ano? Halimbawa, binigyan ka ng opisina, ayun, ginawa mo ng hotel, no? Ginawa mo ng tulugan and whatsoever. That is not in accordance with the ethical standards that are expected from you, no? Ginawa mo ng tawag doon, ginawa mo ng personal service, yung motorcycle na instead that it can be used as the tinatawag nating for patrolling only, hindi na, ginawa mo na siya talagang for your personal use na lang. So much worse sometimes is we can see some police or some of the public yes, yung mga government-owned vehicles, yan. Sometimes are used by their relatives of this police officer, ano? Nakikita mo na ginagamit pang hatid sundo sa kanilang kamag-anak, no? Hatid sundo sa kanilang kakilala, and so on. That is really in violation of the mandates that are expected from the PNP members, you know? So whenever a public property is entrusted to you, no, as a police officer, as a public servant, then you must use it with care, no, and use it with consideration to the public interest. Okay. We also have here the respect for human rights, ano? We always talk about this when we are talking about police ethics. Ano yung pinakauna natin titignan dyan? The respect for human rights, no? The human rights must always be respected, and when we are talking about the respect to human rights, of course, that involves primarily the protection of the human life, no? Dapat hindi pumapatay ang isang police officer because it's their sworn duty to protect human lives regardless of who you are, no? But one of the assumption that we made mention is, of course, when that is in accordance with the law naman. So if that is in accordance with the law, then that is justifiable. But in no cases, no, that they should, no, engage themselves into activities that would endanger, no, the human rights of each and every individual, no. Such as, meron kasi tayong mga activities that are directed, no, that are considered as human rights violations, no, such as the extrajudicial killing. Dapat ba na isang police ba involved sa tinatawag nating extrajudicial killing? No, no, that is in violation of the police ethics that they should be upholding, you know. Should they be involved in arbitrary arrest, no? Should they be involved in torture? Should they be involved in cruel or inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment? No, no, because the mandates of their police ethics is very clear: protect human rights above all. No? So in any case, no, in no cases that they should be involved into such activities that would endanger, of course, the human rights of each and every individual. Okay. Devotion to duty is also important, that the PNP members shall perform their duties with devotion, na? With dedication, with efficiency, with enthusiasm, and other characteristics. No? Devotion to duty should be the primary motivation for the PNP members. No? I hate to say that if your motivation is only the salary, no, only the authority that you have, and only the poggy factor that you will receive when you are already a member of the PNP, then I think you will not survive the PNP organization, and you will not remain as an asset to the organization. Kapag kasi ganun lang yung iniisip mo, sweldo lang yung iniisip mo, yung the image lang ang iniisip mo, or yung tinatawag nating uh, significance lang yung iniisip mo, then when you are faced with scrutiny, you will not be staying with the organization for that long, no? Kaya minsan yan, for example, you will be assigned into some risky places, no? Ma-assign ka sa, halimbawa, ipatapon ka sa Basilan. Are you willing to take that? Ipatapon ka sa Mindanao. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to go to Mindanao? That measures now the how patriotic you are, no? How devoted you are to the PNP. Kasi bakit sasabihin mo, oh, ayoko kasi ayokong mamatay, no? Hindi ko naman sinasabi that if you are a member of the PNP organization is kailangan mong mamatay. That's not the point. The point here is that you must be devoted to your duty, no? So that you can be able to perform what the organization demands, and what the community, what the citizen, what the community expect you to perform, no? Kaya minsan may mga police officer na tumatakbo sa labanan, na may mga police officer na nagtatago pag may gulo, may mga police officer na bumibitaw sa kanilang tungkulin kapag naiipit na, no? They even deny their participation in such deny their profession if it really benefits them, no? Kaya naalala ko tuloy yung before noong nangyari ito sa Zamboanga siege, no? Sa Marawi, no? When a police officer when the Marawi, no, was being invaded by the ISIS. Ayan, nakikipagbakbakan na yung mga sundalo, no? Asaan yung mga pulis ng Marawi during that time? There was a viral video na nakita natin wherein a police officer, no, habang nakikipagbarilan yung mga sundalo sa mga terorista, hinubad yung kanyang uniform, nandun na lang pakuya-kuyakoy nanonood. So would you say that that police officer is devoted to his duty? No, we would not. We would say otherwise. Why? Because in cases that his service is needed, no, to the point that his life can be endangered, he already quitted and removed his uniform and just make himself like a bystander or an ordinary citizen at that point. So we don't want those kind of police officers. We wanted police officers who are willing to perform their duties despite the risk, no, that will come into their faces if they do what is right, no? So yan yung mga tinatawag nating devoted police officers, no? Ayaw natin ng police officers who are motivated only by salary, kasi paano kung bumaba na naman ang salary ninyo? What if President Duterte will no longer be the president? What happened if the next administration would just say, okay, let's bring back the salary of police officer to what it is before? Are you still going to apply? No, if you are no longer interested because the money is no longer the case, no, it's not already profitable. The profession is no longer profitable. Then better yet, wag ka na talagang sumali kasi you will be just a burden to the organization. And there are those police officers who would do their job, no, without any consideration to the salary that they're receiving. No? Without any consideration to the salary that they're receiving. If you wanted the money, then why apply in PNP? You must apply in other profession. You must enroll in other courses that focuses on money making, such as business and so on. Doon ka pumunta. As President Duterte has stated in one of his statement, no, walang yayaman sa pagpupulis, no? Kung gusto mo ng pera, eh mag-aral ka ng business, magtayo ka ng sarili mong business and so on. Huwag ka sa pagpupulis. Kasi kung gusto mong yumaman at nagpulis ka pa rin, it is expected that of course you will engage yourself in corrupt practices. And we don't want that to happen. No? We wanted police officers who are devoted of course to their duty. Okay? Next that we have here is the conservation of natural resources. Ano? Pag sinabi nating natural resources, we're talking about the environment, we're talking about the trees, we're talking about the land, we're talking about the seas, and all of these things that are within our environment. No? One of the strength of our country is of course our natural resources. Ano? That also, syempre, number one is our human resources, which is us, tayo bilang tao. And another strength that we have is, as I've stated, the natural resources that we have. Ang ganda ng ating kalikasan, no? Ang ganda ng ating paligid. Dapat we should, if we are going to take advantage of the things that we have, such as our resources, yung tubig, yung tubig natin na nakapaligid sa atin, those are resources that we could exploit in a positive way so that it would benefit the public. No? Yung ating mga kagubatan, kabundukan, yung mga ating kapatagan, and so on, they should be utilized. No? These are all these are all or some of the strength that we have, yung ating resources. Now, since you are a police officer, or you will become a police officer, you should always take into consideration that you are one of the protector of such resources that we have. No? Dapat isa rin kayo, since you're a law enforcer, you should always take into consideration also that while you are enforcing the law, no? Not only subjected to criminal, but also you should enforce the law that has the function or the purpose of protecting the natural resources, the environment na natin, in terms of, like for example, in protection of illegal logging. We want police officers who are pro nature, na yung taga-protekta din sila. Not just because you're a police officer, wala ka nang pakialam sa ating kapaligiran, no? Hindi, dapat you should one of the primary protector of the natural resources that we have, no? Hindi lang yan sa simpleng kunyari pa tree planting, hindi lang ganun. Although that is one of the good way of showing that you are pro-environment. But also, do not engage into activities such as illegal logging, no? Kasi in reality, there are some individuals that sila pa mismo, police pa mismo ang nagpro-protekta sa mga illegal loggers, no? Police pa mismo ang nagpro-protekta sa mga miners, illegal fishers, and so on. Yun yung mga ayaw natin na mangyari. That's why ipapaalala natin that as a police officer, it is your primary duty also, one of your primary duty, to protect the environment that we have. No? Because if you're protecting the environment, of course, you're protecting also the resources of the government. No? You're protecting the resources of the government, which will benefit the public, no, as a whole, and included, since you are still considered as a citizen of this country. Ah, so in short, we don't want police officers engaging themselves into activities such as illegal logging, illegal mining, illegal fishing, and any other anti-environment act. Now, we want them instead to be the primary enforcer of the laws that we have that has the primary purpose of protecting our environment. Okay? Kasi we have seen that in Palawan, some police officers, high-ranking police officers, involved themselves in activities that would endanger the natural resources that we have. No, we've seen it in the news, we've seen it on the records that there are some of these police officers who do those things, and we don't want that, of course. No, discipline. It's expected already that PNP members shall conduct themselves properly at all times, keeping with the rules and regulation of the organization. I think one of the important values or character that a police officer must have is to be disciplined. And how can you show that? Of course, disiplina sa lahat yan, no? Kapag yung police officer ba sumisingit sa pila just because he is a police officer, would that be considered as a disciplined or professional individual, professional police officer? No. No, asan ang disiplina? If you wanted to impose discipline towards your towards the community, no, gusto mo disiplinado ang community. Like ngayon, nangyayari sa enforcement ng face mask, sa enforcement ng face shield, and so on. One police officer is arresting citizen, community members who are not wearing face shield. However, they themselves as the enforcer do not wear face shield. So how can you impose a certain rules if you yourself is not following it? Yun yung point. No? Kaya dapat ang police officer must have a higher form of discipline compared to the community. No? Kasi they wanted the community to be disciplined at all times. So they must show how it is done. No? If, for example, you wanted to impose the rules and regulation with regards to social distancing, with regards to wearing a face mask, then I think it's just proper and it is common sense that you first should be the role model for the community. Ano? Kasi kung nakikita nila, ikaw nga police officer ka, hindi ka nagsusuot ng face shield. And ako, huhulihin mo ako kasi hindi ako nakasuot ng face shield. Di hulihin mo rin sarili mo. That would be the justification of the community. You know? And sometimes they are using that also to justify their actions. They are appealing to the higher authority. Sabi nila, oh, bakit ito hindi nagsusuot ng face mask? Bakit ako hinuhuli niya? Samantalang siya, hindi rin naman sumusunod sa batas. Like, for example, sa batas trapiko. No? For example, si police officer is nanguhuli ng mga walang plaka, walang helmet. Siya mismo nakasakay sa sasakyan, sa motorsiklo or whatsoever, no, na walang plaka at minsan wala rin siyang helmet. So, it must be fair. When you are trying to impose certain rules to the community, then be the first person to obey such rule. Para they have the respect to you. Kasi kung nakita nila, ikaw masunurin, sinusunod mo yung patakaran, definitely you have the authority also to impose that within your authority as a police officer to impose what must be imposed. So discipline comes within the organization. It should come within the organization and it will manifest outside. Discipline is not force. It's not through coercion and whatsoever. It is a result of doing what is right and discipline will follow. So the police organization really requires high discipline, not only ordinary discipline, but the higher form of discipline to their members. And that members shall uphold such discipline that is required for the PNP so that they will have the face. They will have the face to impose yung mga tinatawag natin different rules and regulations. Okay? Loyalty. Now we are talking about loyalty kanina. We made mention this. Loyalty to what? Loyalty, is that loyalty to a certain person? Loyalty to your ninong, ninang, loyalty to your backer, is that the thing? No. Now, when we are talking about loyalty, PNP members are required, no, are expected to be loyal to the Constitution, no, and the police service is manifested by their loyalty to their superiors, peers, and subordinate as well. So, we have of course, under the PNP organization, yung mga superiors and so on, they're very much respected, no? Kumbaga, meron yung tinatawag na seniority, no? Authority, and so on. Talagang ino-honor yan within the PNP organization. So, if you are uh, younger than a certain officer, no? Pay respect, no? If he is your superior, pay respect also with your peers, no, pay respect, hindi dapat and at the same time I think it's a give and take relationship, so that the organization, the PNP organization, will work uh, uh, fluently and so on. It should be give and take relationship, not just because you're a superior you're going to disrespect your subordinates. Hindi naman ganun. If you're the superior, you wanted that your subordinates will respect you, na respetuhin ka ng mga nasa ibaba mo, then you should respect them at the same time. Now, minsan kasi meron yung mga iba na since they're already in the higher ranking position, is they're no longer respecting their subordinates. Don't you know that, of course, sino ba ang nasa ibaba mo, no? Sino ba ang tutulong sa'yo in case there are things that you wanted to implement? Of course, your subordinates, no? If you don't want, any case of disagreement and whatsoever that would cause the efficiency of your programs and so on, then you should always respect also. It's a give and take. To have respect is a give and take. Now, these things manifest outside, These things manifest outside when the community sees that there is no loyalty among them, among the members of the PNP, then they would it would really affect how they perceive the PNP organization as a whole. No? Kung itong isang pulis nga, ang dami-dami yung sinasabi tungkol sa kanyang superior, what would be the implication of that? No? Walang kwenta yung superior. Or it could be other way around. So, in those cases, loyalty really plays an important to that. And when we are talking about loyalty, it's not just to superior. Although it's stated here that for you to show respect, to the Constitution, you should pay respect to your superior, to your peers, to your subordinates as well. How could that happen, or what's the implication of that? Because superiority, position, title, ranking, where did that came from? Constitution, or probably the law that created the PNP organization. But where did the mandate of the creation of PNP organization came from? Saan nanggaling yung mandato para gawin ang PNP organization? Sa Constitution. Correct. No? Sa Constitution. Therefore, if you show respect, to the hierarchy of position, to the hierarchy of authority within the organization, you are respecting the wish and mandates of the Constitution. So in order for you to honor the Constitution indirectly, do it by showing respect to the mandates of the Constitution and following the wish of the Constitution and following whatever is required by the Constitution. That involves also the hierarchy of authority. So that's loyalty. When you're disloyal to your superior, as long as his command or considered as valid, his demand is in accordance with the law, and yet you still disobey or disregard such order, you are already disrespecting the very law that had created such position and put authority to such position, which is no other than the Constitution. Okay? So that's how loyalty to the Constitution be manifested. For example, you're a police officer and you don't want to obey the orders of the president. You remember that the president, the position and power of the president is given by the Constitution. And if you refuse to obey such orders coming from the president, you are already disrespecting the Constitution. I think that's a very clear example already to show to you how loyalty is done to the Constitution. Okay? We also have here obedience to superiors. Ano? We made mention this kanina under the concept of loyalty. The PNP members shall obey, no? Shall obey orders. Now, and we are not just talking about orders, no? Kasi what if the order is illegal? Should I obey it? Of course not. No? What we are talking about under the obedience to superiors, especially the orders, are lawful, no, lawful orders coming from the superiors. So for example, your superior said, okay, you massage me. Masahin mo ako. No? O di kaya is magluto ka ng pulutan. No? Bumili ka ng alak. Those are simple orders, but do you think that those are considered as lawful? No? Of course, in those cases, no, it should be the ano na. I know for a fact that you cannot hindi ka pwedeng tumanggi sa mga ganong utos coming from your superiors as per as the characteristic of the PNP organization. No, I don't know if that is really is how it is done nationwide, but I have come up into a generalization that such thing is happening, no, in widespread. However, if we wanted to change that, no, palitan natin yung kalakaran na yan sa PNP organization, then I should start from the top, no, to bottom. Kasi hindi ganyan ang gagawin ng nasa baba kung hindi ganyan yung ginagawa ng mga nasa taas. That's the reality, no? So with regards to if you have superiority over your subordinate, if you have superiority, no, over your members, then you should see to it that whatever orders that you should do, you should give, no, you should issue, shall be considered as lawful, no, and reasonable, no, and should not be and you should not take your superiority as a power to oppress or a power to exploit your members in the PNP organization. So, ganun dapat ang mangyari. Huwag mong samantalahin yung authority mo over your subordinates para gamitin yan sa pang-personal mong interest. And of course, no, for the subordinates, you have the right, no, to disobey, no, when the orders is deemed illegal or unlawful. Paano kung sabihin niya, ikaw, PO1, dapat gusto ko bukas is patay na si ganito. He is requiring you, your superior is mandating you to do extrajudicial killing or assassination. Would that be considered as a lawful order? No, lawful ba yan? Of course not. No, it's in no cases that extrajudicial killing or assassination will be considered as a lawful order. No? Walang karapatan ng isang police officer na pumatay. No? So you have the authority or you have the right to disobey such thing, no, by principle. But I don't know in reality. Kaya nga sabi ko, if the organization really wants to change, the change shall come from above. Kasi we know for a fact that superiority is a big factor, a big matter. It's a serious matter in the PNP organization, no? And obedience is also one of the big deal in the organization. That if you sometimes disobey, it could cost your life or your career, no? So we don't want those to happen. Now, if the PNP is serious in their attempt to change the organization, linisin ang organization, then they should take this into consideration, itong mga ganitong nangyayari sa loob ng organisasyon. But nevertheless, of course, the subordinates must pay respect to their superiors by
obeying their mandates, their orders, as long as, of course, it is beyond the law and it is considered as lawful or legal. Now, in no cases that they should accept, no? They should accept uh, unlawful orders. And kasali din dyan, for example, you will be assigned, no? You will be assigned in some places, no? Ikaw, dalhin kita sa ganito, no? You should obey that because that's the mandate coming from your superior. Na minsan may mga police kasi na hindi nila matanggap. For example, is binaba siya ng position, I mean is pinalitan siya ng designation, no? Hindi niya matanggap, nagrebelde. No? So that is disobedience to the superior. As long as it is legal and as long as it is valid, you should obey, no? Ang mandates coming from your superior kasi they probably is doing that because they know that it would be better for you to have that, no? If that is already considered as illegal, then you have all the machinery of the criminal justice system, no, to make use in order to give justice to your case, no, to your cause. Okay. I think this is the last, the command responsibility na tinatawag. This would be the last topic in our lecture, na for module 5. Command responsibility talks about the doctrine of command responsibility. We know for a fact that this is really also one of the big deal under the PNP organization. Ano? Sabi nga ni Spider-Man, no? With a great with a great power comes with a great responsibility. Did I say it correct? So, it just means that if you have superiority, if you have authority over your subordinate, when you have already yung tinatawag nating supervisory power, na? Supervisory power, then definitely you are entitled or you are also responsible when tinatawag nating command responsibility doctrine, no? Which means that when a problem arises, no, from your subordinates, when a problem arises from your subordinates, then you, as their superior, must take charge of it, no, and must be held accountable for it, no, for their behavior, for their misconduct, and so on. Kaya nga, kung mapapansin nyo, once there was an issue of corruption in a certain station, no, sibak agad si Chief of Police, no? Sibak si Chief of Police. Why? Because he has the command responsibility, no? Siya ang may superiority over his subordinate. That's why dapat nababantayan niya, no? Nababantayan niya ang galaw ng kanyang mga tauhan, ang galaw ng kanyang mga subordinates within that. Now, it's really is illogical to believe that certain activities are happening within your jurisdiction or within your supervision, and yet you fail to recognize or address the problem. Halimbawa, meron palang torture na nangyayari doon sa loob ng istasyon pero ikaw na happy nila, hindi mo alam or tinatanggi mo na hindi mo alam. That is very illogical to know. Yes, it's very illogical to believe. That's why when some things like that happen, no, when issues or abuses or problems transpired within your supervision, damay ka, no? Damay ka agad. That is the essence of command responsibility. Kasi meron kang supervision, you have the supervisory authority towards your subordinates, and you are expected to monitor, to supervise or control the activities or behaviors that are happening or transpiring within that area. So under the command responsibility, no, you will be held accountable also for whatever activities or whatever misconduct, no, that will happen, no, committed by your subordinates. That's the thing under command responsibility. Okay, so yan. I do hope you learned something from this lecture, no? And not only for the sake of passing the subject, but of course, in the essence also that you will find it useful someday when you're already within the PNP organization or the Tri Bureau. That also, hindi lang kasi ito parang focus sa PNP organization. You can also adapt this to whatever profession you will be engaging into in the future. So my aim is of course not only to educate you for the sake that you will pass the subject, but also to leave something behind that you could probably utilize, no, or you remember when you are already applying or when you are already in the organization. So I do hope that I was able to impart some knowledge, no, that are necessary for the development of your future profession or your current profession, if in case you are already within the organization. Yeah. So if you have question, guys, for this specific lecture, feel free to comment that down in the comment section. I will take this opportunity also to thank, no, all of those uh, supporters of this channel, ano, be it na estudyante ko kayo or hindi ko kayo estudyante, no, galing kayo sa school na pinagtuturuan ko o hindi, I pretty much appreciate, no, kasi I noticed that it's not only students who are listening, meron din yung mga nasa profession na, which is I'm very thankful that you find it useful, na meron na yung mga graduate na nagre-review na, meron din yung mga registered criminologists na, and still you are watching our lectures. Meron din iba who are already in the teaching profession like me, that are using also my lectures as one of their substantial as one in as one of their substantial lectures. I very much appreciate such thing, no? And I'm really thankful that you find it useful, no, yung mga lectures natin, and thank you for that. I'm very overwhelmed. Okay. So, with regards to that, again, I express my gratitude to everyone who supports this channel, and thank you all. No? I do hope you learned something from what we had lectured. That's it for today. See you next